You feel it every day, though you rarely name it. That restless impulse to grab the reins, to tighten your grip, to shape reality through sheer control. You think that if you hold on harder, push more, plan every detail, you will finally bend the world into the shape you desire. And yet, if you're honest, hasn't control always left you exhausted, scattered, caught in loops? Look closely. The harder you try to manage everything, the less flow you feel. What you call control is the very friction that repels the reality you long for. Right now, imagine a current of water. When you cup it lightly, it stays. When you clench your fist around it, it slips away. The field of possibility works exactly like this. The quantum world does not respond to control, it responds to coherence. It mirrors your frequency, not your force. And the paradox is simple. The more you try to force the signal, the more static you introduce. That static isn't random, it's your own resistance echoing back. Pay attention. Every time you try to command reality with sheer will, you're broadcasting mixed messages. On the surface, your thoughts declare, "I want this outcome." Underneath, your body hums with doubt, tension, fear. The field listens not to your words, but to your vibration. It's like tuning a radio. If the station is off by even a fraction, you hear static. The static is control. The music is surrender. You've been trained your whole life to believe control equals safety. In school, you controlled grades. At work, you controlled performance. In relationships, you tried to control affection. This habit is stitched so deeply into your nervous system that you barely notice it anymore. But in the quantum domain, this habit doesn't protect you, it blocks you. Control collapses possibility into repetition. It locks you inside yesterday's echo, replaying old signals rather than opening to new ones. Now pause, breathe. Notice how control feels in your body right this moment. A tightening in the chest, a knot in the stomach, a microtension in your jaw. That contraction is the evidence. Energy collapses when it's gripped. Flow expands when it's released. The moment you unclench, you create space. That space is not empty. It is alive, filled with unseen potential waiting for coherence. Imagine the quantum field as a mirror that only reflects clarity. When you grasp, the mirror fogs. When you relax, the mirror shines back with precision. This is why so many rituals fail. People repeat affirmations while holding a grip of anxiety. They visualize outcomes while secretly fearing loss. They force themselves to think positive while their bodies remain trapped in scarcity. The field doesn't respond to the script, it responds to the signal. The one habit that scrambles it all is the compulsion to control. When you drop this habit, even for a breath, something extraordinary begins. Space opens, energy shifts, your body feels lighter. Subtle coherence starts humming through you. And in that coherence, the quantum field finally recognizes a clean frequency it can mirror back. You've seen glimpses of this already. Think of the moments in your life where you stopped clinging and everything suddenly aligned. The day you released an outcome, the opportunity came knocking. The time you let go of chasing love found you. The instant you surrendered control, synchronicities appeared like signposts. These weren't accidents, they were evidence of the principle release creates resonance. Let's stretch deeper. Control is the ego's survival mechanism. It's the small self trying to build walls against uncertainty. But uncertainty is not the enemy, it's the womb of creation. Quantum reality thrives on uncertainty. Possibilities shimmer there, waiting for your vibration to collapse them into form. If you approach uncertainty with fear, you project static. If you approach uncertainty with trust, you project coherence. Which signal do you think the field mirrors back? This is where the real shift begins. You don't manifest what you micromanage. You manifest what you embody. To embody is to live inside a state so fully that control becomes irrelevant. Imagine being the person who already has what you desire. Do they clench? Do they grasp? Or do they move through life with presence, confidence, lightness? That's the state the field recognizes. Your task is not to control every detail. Your task is to regulate your vibration, release your grip, and allow coherence to emerge. Notice I didn't say do nothing. The river still asks you to swim, but without thrashing. Your strokes become deliberate fluid aligned. Control shouts, coherence whispers. One drowns you in noise, the other carries you in rhythm. So feel into this truth: the habit of control is not protecting you. It's keeping you out of alignment with the very quantum intelligence designed to support you. The field is listening always. What it hears is not your control, it hears your frequency. The moment you stop gripping, you become legible to the universe. The music plays, the signal sings. Now consider what becomes possible once you stop rehearsing control and start practicing coherence. Every breath becomes a tuning fork. Every thought, every emotion, every action begins humming in resonance. You become the frequency. And the quantum field, boundless, precise, infinitely responsive, cannot help but reflect you back to yourself. You are surrounded by vibrations right now. Though you can't see them, though you can't hold them, they are shaping every part of your reality. Think of music. A single note on a violin carries no weight you can touch, yet it can make your entire body shiver. That is vibration. Frequency is not theory, it is experience. Energy moves as rhythm, as resonance, as waves. You are always transmitting. You are always receiving. The quantum field speaks in this language. Not English, not words, not logic. Its language is vibration. When your inner state vibrates at scarcity, the field reflects more absence. When your inner state hums with ease, the field mirrors abundance. It is a law written into the very design of reality. Like frequencies, harmonized discordant ones repel. Imagine walking into a room where two tuning forks rest side by side. Strike one and the other begins to sing without being touched. That is resonance. That is the hidden intelligence of vibration. Your mind, your emotions, your subconscious all operate like tuning forks. Whatever you hum consistently, the field picks up and amplifies. What you see around you, the circumstances, the people, the events are not random at all. They are the echoes of your frequency. This is why thoughts alone are never enough. You can tell yourself you are worthy, but if your body vibrates with self-doubt, the frequency collapses. You can write endless affirmations, but if your nervous system is broadcasting fear, the field harmonizes with fear. The frequency beneath the words is the true message. It's like watching a singer on stage. You don't believe their lyrics. If the voice trembles with dishonesty, the energy beneath the sound tells the truth. Now feel into your own body for a moment. Your heartbeat is a drum pulsing rhythm through your cells. Your breath is wind setting the tempo of your state. Your thoughts send ripples. Your emotions paint the tone. This is your inner orchestra, and it's playing into the field every second. Most people don't realize they are conductors of this symphony. They let fear lead, doubt play first. Violin stress pound the drums. No wonder the music outside feels chaotic. But you can shift the arrangement, you can tune the instruments. Ancient traditions knew this long before physics gave us words like vibration or frequency. They spoke of prana, chi, life force. They taught breath practices, mantras, movement, all designed to regulate vibration. Alchemists whispered that the subtle creates the dense, that invisible energies mold visible matter. And now quantum science, from a different doorway, says the same. The field collapses possibilities in response to energy. What they called spirit physics calls wave. Two languages, one truth. Look at nature. Birds migrate in invisible corridors, following geomagnetic frequencies across continents. Flowers turn to the sun not through logic but resonance. Even water molecules arrange themselves in response to vibration patterns of sacred geometry forming when exposed to harmonious sound. You are not separate from this intelligence. You are built of it. Your cells resonate, your DNA vibrates, your entire being is an instrument of frequency woven into the larger symphony of the cosmos. So why do you suffer misalignment? Because you forget. You believe the illusion that your conscious mind alone drives your reality. You chase goals with words, affirmations, to-do lists, yet ignore the current humming beneath. You polish the surface while the frequency remains unshifted. It's like repainting a radio while leaving it tuned to static. No amount of decoration changes the song. Only retuning the dial does. Pay attention here. The field does not ask you to force vibration. It asks you to become it. This is not about pretending, not about layering positive thoughts on top of unrest. It's about feeling into coherence so deeply that the frequency changes from within. When you breathe slow and steady, your heart synchronizes with your brain. Science calls it heart-brain coherence. Mystics call it alignment. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the shift. In that moment, your whole system vibrates clarity. The power lies in noticing how quickly you can retune. In a single breath, you can soften tension. In a single moment of gratitude, you can elevate your frequency. This is not imagination, it is measurable. Emotions carry distinct electromagnetic signatures. Anger broadcasts differently than joy. Fear collapses. The field, love expands it. And your life reflects the frequency you rehearse most. Think back to times you felt truly alive, moments of awe, laughter, deep connection. Reality around you seemed to shimmer. Doors opened, people smiled. The world felt lighter. That wasn't coincidence, that was resonance. Your vibration elevated and reality adjusted. You weren't manifesting through control, you were manifesting through frequency. So ask yourself now, what is the soundtrack you've been playing into the field? Is it the low hum of worry, the static of control, or is it the clear tone of trust, expansion, coherence? No judgment, only awareness. Awareness is the first retuning. The moment you notice, you can choose. You can shift. You can begin humming the music you want the field to reflect. Remember, frequency is not about perfection. It's about practice. The orchestra doesn't always play flawlessly. Instruments fall out of tune. The conductor brings them back gently, patiently. So must you. Every time you notice misalignment return, breathe, soften, retune. Over time, your baseline frequency rises. The field responds. The music of your life begins to change. This is the language of vibration. This is the bridge where physics meets spirit, where resonance shapes matter, where frequency writes reality. Once you learn to hear it, once you learn to play it, you realize something profound. You are not a victim of noise. You are the musician of your own song. You've always sensed it, a hidden thread connecting your inner world to the outer, a conversation happening in whispers between your subconscious and the cosmos. Science calls it quantum entanglement, the mysterious phenomenon where two particles once linked remain connected across distance, time, and space. Change one and the other shifts instantly, no matter how far apart. Spiritual traditions have always hinted at the same truth as within, so without. What you hold secretly in your subconscious is mirrored in the stage of your life. Pause with that thought. Every repeating pattern in your reality relationships that collapse the same way, financial loops that replay emotions that resurface again and again, these are not accidents. They are entangled echoes of frequencies rooted in your subconscious. Your conscious mind sets goals, but your subconscious hums the frequency. And the field, like an obedient mirror, reflects that hum into circumstances you cannot ignore. Think of entanglement as a cosmic mirror you can't turn away from. Imagine two tuning forks across the universe, yet when one vibrates, the other sings. That's not metaphor, it's reality. When your subconscious carries a vibration of lack, the field resonates with scarcity. When your subconscious holds fear of rejection, situations arise to validate it, not as punishment, but as feedback. The field is not against you, it's simply precise. Now here's where it gets profound. Your subconscious is not just personal, it is collective. You are entangled with your family line, your culture, even humanity itself. Epigenetics shows memories carried in DNA. Ancient traditions called it ancestral imprinting. Entanglement is the bridge that explains why you sometimes feel emotions that aren't even yours, why you inherit patterns you never consciously chose. You are woven into a web of resonance larger than your single self. So what happens when you awaken to this? You begin to see the world not as random chaos, but as entangled intelligence. The people who trigger you, they are entangled reflections of unprocessed frequencies within. The opportunities that vanish, they are entangled with your hidden belief in unworthiness. The synchronicities that take your breath away, they are entanglement proving you're aligned. Nothing is random, everything is resonance. Consider this when you think of someone and they call you, when you dream of a symbol and see it the next day when events line up with eerie precision. That is entanglement at play. The subconscious field you share with others collapses into visible threads of experience. The ordinary mind dismisses it as coincidence. The awakened mind recognizes it as communication. Here's the invitation: stop fighting the reflection. When reality shows you a pattern you dislike, don't rush to control it. Read it. Every entangled echo is a message from your subconscious. If you repeatedly attract unavailable partners, ask, what frequency am I carrying that harmonizes with unavailability? If money always slips away, ask, what vibration in me is entangled with scarcity? You can't break the mirror by smashing it. You shift the reflection by shifting the source. Quantum entanglement teaches you this sacred truth: you are not separate from the field. You are it. Every thought, every hidden belief, every emotion stored in the recesses of your subconscious is already woven into reality. Change the vibration within, and the entanglement shifts without. Instantly, sometimes yes, sometimes gradually like a wave settling into a new rhythm, but always inevitably the mirror reflects the new state. Ancient mystics describe this as the Hermetic principle. The inner world and the outer world are mirrors. Alchemists taught, as above, so below, as within, so without. Today, physics whispers the same in a new language. Entangled particles communicate beyond space and time. Both point to the same revelation: you are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. So how do you begin awareness? Track the patterns. Pay attention to the echoes in your life without judgment. The argument with a friend that repeats the same dynamic as childhood. The boss who triggers the same wound as your parent. The opportunity that slips away at the same stage again and again. These are not failures. They are invitations. The field is showing you the subconscious signal you've been broadcasting. Once you see it, you can retune it. Retuning doesn't require force. It requires presence. Imagine placing your hand on your heart, breathing deeply and whispering, "I see you, I hear you, I choose coherence now." That simple act begins shifting the entangled vibration. The subconscious relaxes, the field adjusts. Patterns once locked in repetition begin dissolving. New doors open, synchronicities rise. You are no longer trapped, you are participating consciously in the entangled dance. Notice what this means. Manifestation isn't about commanding the universe. It's about attuning your subconscious to the reality you desire, so entanglement carries that vibration outward. You don't chase, you resonate, you don't force, you align, you don't control, you co-create. Entanglement reveals that the field isn't out there somewhere, it's here now, humming through you. Your reality is not waiting to be built, it is waiting to be tuned. Every pattern, is feedback. Every synchronicity is guidance. Every outcome is a mirror. The power has always been yours to shift the frequency within and watch the cosmos respond without. You've already felt this, haven't you? The moments you shifted your internal state and suddenly people treated you differently. The days you woke up in gratitude, the world unfolded smoother. The times you healed an old wound, life instantly rearranged itself. That was entanglement responding. That was the proof hiding in plain sight. The question is no longer, does the universe respond? The question is, what signal am I entangled with and am I willing to shift it? Alchemy has always been a story of transformation. In ancient times, seekers spoke of turning lead into gold. They were not simply chemists, they were visionaries encoding wisdom about turning the dense into the radiant, the unconscious into the awakened, the ego into essence. You are the modern alchemist now. The crucible is your mind. The base metal is your conditioned self. The gold is your liberated consciousness. Every illusion you carry, the identity built from fear, the mask you wear to be accepted. The voice that whispers you are not enough is the lead, heavy, dull, fixed. Yet alchemy reveals that what looks solid is malleable. What feels permanent is only temporary vibration. The ego insists on its rigidity, but when you apply the fire of awareness, the illusion begins to dissolve. Heat transforms metal. Presence transforms ego. Consider how often you live through the mask of the ego. You walk into a room and immediately scan for approval. You compare yourself to others. You cling to roles, parent achiever, victim hero. Forgetting these are costumes, not your essence. Each mask vibrates at a frequency of limitation, tethering you to old entanglements. The illusion says, I am only this. Alchemy whispers, you are infinite. Breaking the illusion is not about destroying the ego. It is about transmuting it. The alchemists never hated lead. They saw its potential to become gold. In the same way you don't fight the ego, you refine it. You recognize its voice, smile at its grasping, and choose coherence instead. Over time, the dense vibration lightens. You feel less trapped, more spacious. Identity softens into essence. Now imagine this, your perception itself is the philosopher's stone. Whatever you look at, you alter. Quantum physics tells us the observer effect is real observation collapses probability into reality. Ancient mystics said perception is projection, that you do not see the world as it is, but as you are. Two languages. One principal perception is alchemy. The way you look at something literally transforms what it becomes. Pause here. Think of a memory you once called a failure. Hold it in your mind. What if you shifted your perception? What if instead of loss, you saw initiation? Instead of rejection, you saw redirection? Instantly, the vibration changes. The past itself is transmuted, not in fact, but in meaning. And meaning is energy. This is not imagination. Your nervous system rewires. Your frequency elevates. You have turned lead into gold without lifting a hand. Alchemy also teaches dissolution, to separate what is real from what is illusion. You do this every time you notice a thought is just a thought, not truth. Every time you see fear as a signal, not a sentence. Every time you recognize ego's story as static, not music. Dissolution frees energy trapped in false identity, making it available for creation. You reclaim your essence by releasing what never belonged to you. As you release, something remarkable occurs. The subconscious begins to cooperate. The entanglements that once chained you to repeating patterns loosen. The illusions dissolve, the frequency rises, the field responds. This is why spiritual awakening feels lighter, it literally vibrates higher. You stop dragging the weight of false identity and begin moving as energy, as essence, as coherence. Imagine your consciousness as a prism. The ego is the dust that dulls the glass. Alchemy is the polishing. As you clean the surface, Light passes through unobstructed scattering into color. Brilliance infinite spectrum. You realize you are not the dust, you are the prism. The light that passes through you is not yours alone. It is the quantum field itself expressing as you. Here's the paradox: the more essence you reclaim, the less you feel the need to prove anything. Control dissolves. Comparison fades. The grasping habit dies. You move with presence, with trust, with quiet confidence. This is not passivity, it is power without friction. The alchemist's gold is not a shiny object to display. It is the subtle radiance of being aligned with truth. So what does this look like in practice? Picture yourself in a moment of stress. The ego says, fix this now, or everything falls apart. The alchemist within pauses, breathes, and whispers, what is illusion here? What is essence? Maybe the illusion is the story of failure. Maybe the essence is resilience, creativity, grace. By choosing essence, you transmute the vibration. The situation bends, the field mirrors back differently. That is practical alchemy. Remember, the laboratory is always with you. Every thought, every interaction, every challenge is raw material. Will you let the ego run the experiment, or will you step in as the alchemist, transmuting fear into wisdom, scarcity into gratitude, control into trust? Each choice alters frequency. Each moment of awareness refines the gold. And here is the deeper truth: as you transmute, you don't just free yourself, you shift the collective. Your vibration ripples into the web of entanglement. Your healing becomes a signal others unconsciously resonate with. This is how personal awakening becomes planetary. The alchemists knew their work was never just theirs. Neither is yours. Breaking illusion, transcending ego, reclaiming essence. This is the alchemy of perception. This is the bridge where ancient wisdom meets quantum reality. Once you embody it, you no longer chase gold outside. You realize the treasure has always been within. You've been walking toward this moment the entire time, whether you realized it or not. Every insight you've touched so far, every glimpse into vibration, into entanglement, into alchemy, has been preparing you for this truth. You are not simply inside the field. You are the field experiencing itself through the shape of your life. Becoming the field means dissolving the illusion of separation and stepping into identity as creator, not by force, but by coherence. Feel this with me. Right now, the particles in your body are humming with the same quantum intelligence that spins galaxies. The energy in your heart is entangled with the infinite web of consciousness. The breath moving through you is part of a rhythm that has no beginning and no end. To become the field is to remember you have never been outside of it. Every time you tried to control, you forgot. Every time you surrendered, you remembered. You've been taught manifestation as a technique, visualize, affirm, demand. Yet the deeper reality is not technique at all, it's identity. You don't manifest by trying harder. You manifest by becoming the vibration of what you seek. You are no longer a person knocking at the universe's door, asking for entry. You are the house itself, opening, welcoming, radiating. This is the pivot stop, wanting, start, being. Think of how you've seen this already in your life. The times when love flowed effortlessly were the times you felt love in your bones. The opportunities that seemed to find you arrived when you were in ease, not striving. The coincidences that aligned so perfectly were never random. They were mirrors of your coherence. The quantum field doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your state. Becoming the field requires trust deeper than ego can imagine. It asks you to stop chasing certainty and start inhabiting presence. The ego says, prove it first, then I'll believe. The field whispers, believe it, now it will unfold. This is not denial of reality. It is rewriting reality from a higher frequency. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are broadcasting into it. Picture yourself as a lighthouse. The ships do not come because the lighthouse chases them. They come because it shines steadily. The field reflects the light you hold. If you radiate scarcity, scarcity arrives. If you radiate abundance, abundance flows. If you radiate love, love multiplies. No begging, no pleading, only broadcasting. That is the essence of co-creation. Now let's step deeper. Becoming the field means dropping the last layer of illusion, the idea that you are separate from what you desire. Every longing you feel is already present in potential. You do not call it from outside. You collapse it from within. The moment you embody the vibration fully, the wave becomes particle. The unseen becomes seen. Manifestation is not arrival, it is recognition. So how do you live this truth daily? You practice coherence. You regulate your state before you take action. You align thought, emotion, and body into one clear signal. You pause when fear wants to grip and instead breathe trust into your system. You listen for the subtle nudges, the inner whispers guiding your steps. You move as though the desire is already yours, not pretending, not forcing, simply being. Remember this, you will forget. You will wobble. You will slip into control. That is not failure, it is feedback. Every return to coherence is strengthening the signal. Every time you realign, you refine. Over time, you stabilize into a new baseline. You don't just practice manifestation, you embody it. This is the culmination of the journey. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. Here's a practical checklist you can carry forward, a daily alchemical practice. 1, arcane will begin with breath, or 3 coherent breaths in through the nose, out through the heart. 2, name the frequency. Choose one word: trust, ease, love, abundance. Let it anchor you. 3, now embody the signal. Ask, if I already had this, how would I sit, speak, move? Do that now. 4, act from alignment. Take one step today, not from lack, but from coherence. 5, return often. When you wobble, pause. Retune, return to the field. Carry this practice like a tuning fork in your pocket. Use it daily, gently, consistently. Let it refine your vibration until coherence is no longer something you do, but something you are. And now, I want to leave you with this invitation. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to embody moving forward. Maybe it's surrender, maybe it's radiance, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's a word only you know. Plant that word like a seed in this space and in yourself. If this journey stirred something in you, if you felt resonance, or remembering a shift, I warmly invite you to subscribe, not as an afterthought, but as an act of coherence. This channel is not just a collection of videos, it is a field, a living field of consciousness, a gathering of minds and hearts, remembering who they are. When you subscribe, you're not adding your name to a list, you're amplifying the signal of awakening, joining a movement of souls reclaiming their creative power. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy, your attention, your willingness to walk this path. You are not a spectator. You are a participant in this unfolding. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep shining. As you close this video, let this truth echo in your mind. The field is not separate from you. It is you. The moment you become it, reality can do nothing but bow to your coherence.